ending. Hello, Internet. My name is John Kulas. I'm a 20-year professor of industrial and organizational psychology, 10-year user of R for statistical, traditional, kind of boring applications. And for the last 7 or 8 years, I've also been using R to author things like papers and reports and slide decks like you're looking at right now. And so every week I just kind of hang out and have some collaborators that occasionally show up and hang out with me, and we make ourselves available if there's anyone else out there who wants to start doing this and maybe has some questions or just want some people to bounce ideas off of. So every week, I forgot I disabled on the slides this week. That actually reminds me in the comments. Let me go ahead and post access to the slides. I disabled the mouse wheel on this week's slides because there is some code that we want to navigate on these slides, and the mouse wheel navigating the slides kind of interferes with navigating code chunks once we get to code chunks. Anyway, so I'm here every week at Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern, and occasionally we got some people popping by to keep me company, which is always welcome. But every week, what we do is we make ourselves available if there's anyone out there that is interested in this and has questions. But because that hasn't really, we haven't had a lot of takers on that. The other thing we've been doing is we've just been exploring features of these platforms that we've been using, primarily Quarto. So we've been using Quarto primarily as an authoring platform, but there's all kinds of neat capabilities of Quarto, and we've been just kind of going one by one. It's week. We're almost up to week 70 now. A couple of weeks we've had duplicates, so we've kind of bled over our feature exploration from one week to another. But still, every other than that, pretty much every session has been a different feature. And so tonight we'll take a look at making the code that you're trying to share full screen. Now we actually do have a guest here this week, so I'm happy to see him. Let's get his intro music going here.
Dog goes woof, cat goes meow, bird goes tweet, and mouse goes squeak. Cow goes moo, frog goes croak, and the elephant goes toot. Ducks say quack, and fish go blub, and the seal goes ow, ow, ow. But there's one sound that no one knows. What does the fox say?
Ladies and gentlemen, fear not for my safety. After all, I am smart as a fox, you know.
Hi, Kulas.
Casey, it's been a long time since I've been able to play that. It's nice to have you here.
I know it's been a while.
I forgot about your intro. I like that one a lot.
I don't think I ever forgot it.
And you're okay with it, right? So
I am okay with it. Yes,
oh, okay. Because you know what I've been doing since we haven't, if I don't have guests, what I've been doing is I've been having virtual guests. So I have cats that sometimes show up. I don't know if you've seen that. And
No,
then,
I haven't.
the cats chase the squirrels away. And then they chase the birds away as well. Do you know Pasquale? I don't know if you and Pasquale overlapped in terms of school.
Yes, we have. Yeah, we
Oh,
did.
okay. Because he's a big bird guy, so I've been playing. When he shows up, I've been doing the birds. But anyway, it's nice to have a regular person instead of birds. So Casey, tonight, what we're going to be taking a look at is enabling this capability of using your entire screen to showcase code if you're trying to communicate code. So um, I don't know. We'll see. It's an extension. We've been using a lot of Quarto extensions, which are just kind of unique, focused, specialized capabilities that don't come bundled with Quarto itself, but can be put on the back end.
So it's like another interface that goes beyond Quarto
No, it's actually it's
or a
just
package?
yeah, it's like a package, so it
Mm-hmm.
enhances the capabilities of the base program. You'll
Gotcha,
see.
gotcha, gotcha.
We'll pop into it in a second here. So because we explore these fairly just kind of organically, We also try to do a recap each week of what happened the previous week in a format that's maybe a little more easily digestible. So we'll go ahead and get our transition into that going here.
Well, our heroes have met up again with Captain Peter Peachfuzz, much to their dismay. For in trying to land his helicopter, the good captain pulled the wrong lever and the blades flew off into space. After that, the helicopter dropped like a stone toward the desert floor.
You better bail out, Captain.
I didn't know we were leaking.
No, I mean you better parachute.
A moment later, our friends left the stricken aircraft, and while Rocky zoomed lightly through space, 2 parachutes blossomed on the desert sky. Unfortunately, the captain had put his on upside down. He descended in a rather unorthodox way. As a result, all manner of things, money and papers, began to rain from his pockets.
Get them, Rocky, get them!
I was just about to say something now. I forgot what it was. So last week we looked at animations, and so animations across slides, not like cartoon animation, but to me animation means cartoons. So one of the animations that we played with was just straight off the Quarto kind of help pages, and that was just affecting slide content in terms of styling. So we have the text here changing size and then also changing color. Image kind of disappears, so that's the animation there. And then we also did some code animation, and so this is Casey, this is what we're going to kind of expand a little bit tonight, is just this kind of capability of hiding a bit of code and then getting it upon kind of interacting with it. So there's different ways to hide your code. You can actually, there's built-in kind of function in these HTML products to also hide your code and ask for the entire thing to be revealed or not. But if you just want to hide part of it, that one way to do that is to engage in these animations. The code itself is just given by this bracketed curly bracket styling specification. And so the styling specification is auto-animate equals true. And so if we do that on adjacent slides, then it's actually, there's some internal logic, and so it'll do its best to match the content from one slide to another. But you see here I have on line 2, this double hash specification is saying this is an entire slide. And what I have here is just a statement, should I drink the tea? And then also an image, and this is the image of Alice with her tea party. And then the second slide is indicated by this second set of 1 or 2 hashtags, so it's a first or second level header. The title there, the title there uses these bracketed spans. So animations is what you see here, and then the animation styling is a font that we found, a Google font, and we're just applying it. So it's a bit of CSS that we created, but the actual specification of animation is just this auto animate true. Now what we did was we used those fenced divs, and we could have used a bracketed span as well, but we applied some styling to the same content on line 11 that we also had on line 4. And so what we asked is for the size of it to be blown up 4 times what it normally would be. So 4 EM is magnified by 4, and then just change the color to blue. And so if we look at what happens there with that, you can see how it renders. And again on that second slide, we did not include the picture, so the picture just kind of slides off. I don't believe there was animation on the picture. Let's check that. I don't think there was. Just kind of, I guess it does get pushed down a little tiny bit. But there's not much animation to it. And then for the code chunk, I always think I'm making people dizzy when I go back and forth like this. But on the code chunk itself, it's a little longer because the content is more here. So we use the same auto animate equals true across consecutive slides. And now the matching content is on the first slide, we're actually showing the bit of code that we want to first display. And that code is repeated in the below chunk, but it's added to. So in addition to library grid down through LTY equals dashed, so I don't even remember what this code was about. We just kind of stole some without even really paying close attention to what the context was. We just wanted to get some R script in there that we could play with. In addition to what we had in the first chunk, I have this addition of lines 26 through 32. And then if we go to that animation, you can actually see that specification here. Now, the index numbers are going to not be the same. Sorry about that. They're not going to be the same on my rendered document as they are in my code chunk because there's actually a little more information contained in the code chunk. The code chunk is running consecutively from the first down through the repeated and then the additional. So these aren't going to match exactly just because of the way that these are stacked. So I don't know if I'm saying that well, but what I'm trying to say is lines 2 through 10 are presenting information that's going to have an index number that starts at line 5 here. And it's going to start at line 19 here. So these index numbers aren't going to match across these two pages. Anyway, so that's animation. Animation is pretty straightforward. You can also do image animation. There's other tricks and other kind of little tweaks that you can make to it. We pretty much just played with and stayed with the standards. Now today we're still going to be working with code chunks, but what I thought was kind of neat was I stumbled across a package that shows how to get those code chunks. And one of the things I've been struggling with putting these slide presentations together is, well, I found a workaround now, but one of the things originally I was struggling with is the size of the code chunks. And so as you see here, it kind of runs off the page. Now, I found a nice way to control that, but by default, these don't always come in with the dimensions that you're interested in. And so certainly that you can play with that, but you can only play with that to a certain extent. So you can largely play with the dimensions of your code chunks as they're displayed in something like a slide deck like this in terms of making them smaller. So you can make them larger to a degree, but you cannot, by the base program, you cannot easily at least make them as big as the entire screen. So this package that we're going to be checking out, what it does is it enables us to take this lines 1 through 12 here and blow it up on the entire screen. Now for this particular chunk it wouldn't be all that great. For this chunk it might be a little better because I do have information that's running over the page, and so it might be nice to have a bigger display palette. And so that's what we were going to do tonight. So I think Casey, it sounds like you got a stapler going there. Are you doing work?
Oh, no. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
It's probably just me clicking on something.
Oh, you're clicking on something. I
Yeah.
gotcha. Now I know you've been working on some interesting stuff too. So I just got a script from you that I haven't run it yet because I don't have the document that you want it run on. I got to access that. You know how it go here. So here's something that I don't know if you've thought of this, but I have different computers that I need to use to access different online accounts because I have passwords that are they're actually
I got it. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
yeah, but I mean I wonder, I don't know if that's a unique thing or not, but anyway, I'm looking forward to actually testing it out. So Casey's been working on some script to come up with. I'm guessing you're gonna maybe turn that into an app. Is the thought?
It
Or
could be an app, but keeping up a website could be hard. And maintaining it is hard. So if anything, we could turn it into a package and have it in GitHub for people to use.
yeah, I just love the fact that you guys. When I say you guys, I mean some of you people that I worked with in like in a academic school setting. I'm so impressed that you guys have like the entrepreneurial spirit with this stuff. You know what I mean? So it's not
Yeah.
like it's not like you're going out there trying to make millions of dollars, but you're out there trying to make product and still playing with these platforms. That's awesome. I love to see it.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
s-
I still use R in my daily work life too. Like I most of the stuff that I do, I have to automate in R or in Alteryx because we have so much data that we work for. We have like millions of rows and then like 700 columns. So R can't handle that. So then I have to go to Alteryx to like run a workflow.
What's Alteryx? I don't know that I've heard of that.
It's literally like it's I wouldn't even say it's a programming tool. It's a tool where you just format it, data, clean data, and analyze data. It's
Okay.
basically a very more friendly user version than R. Have you ever used Microsoft Access? Uh,
Yes, way back when.
but
So
the whole entire thing is, how they have tools where you drag and drop into a panel. That's exactly what Alteryx is. You have a whole bunch of tools. Like there's a select tool, a formula tool, a left join, an inner join tool, and you just drag and drop those and connect them, and then you just put like what variables you want from your data set.
now, is there a documentation capability on that? Something like syntax or script where you can
No.
record what you did in terms of drag and or not?
Potentially, yes, but not that I know of.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, that's kind of my whole. That that's that's one of the whole reasons that I'm so keen about doing this stuff in R is that you got a record of everything. So if something goes wrong, you can undo it.
Yeah,
But
like the best thing that we can do in Alteryx is that obviously you can save the workflow so you can see what everything you do. But if you want
okay.
to know like what every component does, you could write like a little note section that so like how R has the hashtags. You could do that in
Yeah.
Alteryx as well. So
Yeah,
like
that
that's the
helps.
best way to keep the record of everything. But there's that like uh, a recording process where it shows you like how you drag in each tool in.
Gotcha. Well, that helps. I mean,
Mhm.
as someone that's been beating the drum of documentation for like, I don't know, 20 years, it's I think I might be finally giving up. So I think I might finally be like, all right, the entire universe just wants to use Excel and use these other just kind of drag and drop things. I don't know. I think I'm running out of steam, Casey.
Oh no, I understand, but no, I try to keep doing what I'm doing.
Oh,
Try.
you guys are well trained, and I also understand just kind of business necessity. If your workplace doesn't if that's what they want to do and that's what they support, then you kind of have to. But
Yeah, no. Well, the
you know,
thing is, it's not just that. It's just like I said, we work with too much data that R can't process all of it. If that makes sense, like it's just too big of a file that literally R would be like memory error. So
just
it's
get
like,
rid of some of it. You don't need, you don't need that much data.
cool laws. We
Just
both know that's not how it works.
just chop it. Just yeah. Once
Oh,
you're over a million, you don't need any more.
no, that's
Um.
not how it works.
Okay. 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 Well, let's see what's going on here with this extension. So there's a little demo. I'm going to check out the demo and see wait, look at that guy's name. That's a heck of a name. Shafayette Khan Shafi.
Hmm.
It sounds like royal, doesn't it? This guy should be a prince or something. I don't know why. It reminds me of Shere Khan. I think I'm thinking Shere Khan. You know who Shere Khan is?
I actually do not. Oh, okay. Yes, I know.
He scared me as a kid. Woo, he scared me. He had a weird cartoon voice. I don't know what it was, but he scared the crap out of me. I'm better now. Like I can look at that picture. I can look at the picture and not go, running into the other room crying. So that's progress, I guess. So I'm gonna put this link in comments as well, in case anyone's out there wants to check it out. And let's take a look and see. View the codes in full screen. This is what it does. View the codes in full screen by clicking the full screen button, which we don't currently have because we don't have the extension. On the top right corner of the code block, hover the mouse pointer upon the code block, you will see the full screen button. Okay, so here's, again, that kind of our case use. Very long code. We would normally scroll through that. There, you see, there is a difference there. So if we pull up my code, let's get to the code block here. So if we pull up my code and I hover, you see the normal clipboard. And so that's a feature of these HTML products using Quarto. And so if I copy that, and again, since I'm a boomer, not really, I'm a Gen Xer, but I do boomer things, I would use Notepad and just paste it in there. That's nice and fine. But what we're trying to do with this is you see there's an additional option here, which is, I don't know, it looks like a Star Wars aimer guide thingy, or just a square. So it's either a Star Wars aimer thingy or a square, and that's a different option. Now if I hit the clipboard, I should I should be able to copy it just like I did my code. There it is, bunch of long code. They probably don't care what it is either. Should we try to run it, Casey, and see what this is?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's put it in R and see what this is. See if it's real code. Hopefully it's not like something vile or that we shouldn't be showing. Looks like it's just a bunch of, is it one big function? Well, if it's a big function, we're gonna have to see what it does. Huh.
But it doesn't explain like what you need for the function to work now, does it? Like what kind of data set? Or does
No,
it provide a data set to use?
and, I guess we probably should have read.
Huh?
Source code of stats. Oh, it's the linear regression function code. So this is the function to perform a linear regression from base stats. It says the package stats, but stats is just base now. So interesting. So it's a regression equation. Look at that. It's kind of cool. I just pulled some random one that I don't know what it does. I should have done something neat like this. Well, that's why he's a Tiger Shah King and I'm not. Shah Khan. But if we hit this full screen option now, this is what we're looking at. And the nice thing is you get the small screen there, so it's easy to go back and forth. I wonder if I can use the back arrow. No. So I can't use the back arrow on my browser. Let's see if I use my back arrow, if it actually advanced. Yeah, so it does advance the slide presentation itself. So if we use the full code, enabling, and then navigate using the browser buttons, and then disable, we're going to see that we've navigated on the slides. So we don't probably want to do that. I'm just kind of talking through as I'm discovering stuff here. But I mean, I can see a use of this like in an educational context, right? Like it'd
Can
be
you
nice.
make edits on it? Sorry.
No, we can't make edits on it. I can copy and paste though.
Okay.
I mean, I can copy from it. I can't paste into it.
Yeah.
There is, maybe one of these weeks there is a editable R interface that you can embed in these too. I was thinking about taking a look at that. Maybe we'll take a look at that in a couple of weeks. But let's see how we. What else do we have on here? Uh, it's just a different code snippet. So small demonstration here. It only has three kind of meaningful pages. In terms of accessing it, now we've been playing with these extensions for a little bit. So it looks like this was something that was added a long time ago because we're now on Quarto 1.6, I think. When we started looking at this, we were on Quarto 1.4 or just prior to 1.4. And so it's asking for 1.2. Let's see, Casey's playing Jenga.
No. You
Looks
still
like,
keep your art updated? Last time I checked, you were like on Quarto 1.2.
yeah, I'm pretty bad. No, I've no. There's a bug on 1.6 that's interfering with some of my. I don't know if I told you or not, but I picked up a class, so I'm teaching a class, just a small undergraduate class. Um, but all of my slides, all of my lectures are using
Art.
Reveal.js as authored in R. And there's a bug on the callouts that interferes with my preferred background of this. It's a very unique specific thing. I told the team, the Quarto team, or I gave information back to the repo and they're aware of it, and it's not a pressing need, so it's something that'll be fixed on the next release. But so anyway, so I intentionally went backwards. I did update and I had the most recent version of Quarto, and I had to deinstall it and revert back to the 1.5. My R is probably terrible. I don't I like I I don't even want to look, but 2022. I don't know. What's your R? Do I have you beat?
No, I'm at 2024, cool loss.
Wow. You're hip now with it, and wow. What a
Man, you're far behind.
you're a modern man is what you are. You're keeping up with the times. Yeah, I definitely am not. I need to. I should. Okay. Maybe before next week, I'll see if I can.
I don't know. Like every time you update, all your script is gonna stop working because it's like you just updated. Now you gotta download everything again.
That is the fear. That is the fear. My bigger fear, I guess, is with our studio because I have so much linked right now. I'm pushing stuff to different hosting sites and kind of like what I alluded to your with your project in terms of different computers having different passwords and things linked to it. I'm just Posit's really good about that stuff being maintained across installations, so I shouldn't worry about it. But my R Studio is probably more old than the R itself is. You know when I update, Casey. So I don't know if you're on top of the updates, that you probably don't do this, but I tend to update when there's a package that I use and that package has an R version dependency.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's when I go and do it. But I
I
haven't
feel like
had.
that's always the case with me.
Yeah,
Like it needs dependent. It has to have a better version. I'm like, okay.
I bet a lot of people are like that. Okay, so we are going to copy this Quarto add specification and we're gonna paste that into our terminal. Now what it should do, let me create a different project directory, um, just so we can see what's going on here. And in addition to that, I have way too many junk things going on in this current project directory. So I'm gonna go. How do I start a new project? Why is it not on here? I'm gonna go File. Oh, new project. Apparently, I need an app. No, we don't want to save Untitled 1. we're going to start a new project in a new directory. And I'm just going to put it on my desktop. We'll call it, I have too many temps, so we'll call it full code. And I'll probably get rid of it after we do this. So the full code project is now, if you're in RStudio, I see it in my upper right hand panel as an option. And in this lower right hand pane, I see its location on my computer. Boy, I tell you, Casey, I got so many students that are using Macs. I just, I, I am so over Macs because they're fine, and I know the people that use them prefer them, and developers and R users, and I think everyone that I've seen at Posit, when they do like an online something or other, they're always using Macs, and that's fine. But but the Mac users who try to port over and do stuff like this, that I would say the minority, it's the minority that have a concept of where on the computer, right? It's just the, we call them folders on a PC. I think they're directories on a Mac, but the concept of where something is in terms of folder or directory specification, oh man, I'm kind of, I just, it's been a lot of,
I get it.
been a lot of frustration trying to get people to understand where something is. They're like, what? Wait,
Yeah.
it's on the computer.
Yeah, no, I think the best bet for you if you're getting that trouble is that you have them create a new folder for every project that they do in R. And then they save all their data and R script in that one folder. And then everything's basically in one thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. You're full of good ideas. All right, you gotta pop by more often. I like your good ideas. All right, so we got our full code project here with nothing in it, but we know the location. It's off my C drive and the users folder, and then the couple of specific things, desktop and then full code. I'm going to paste that command into the, I believe it's in the terminal is where we should paste it, not the console, the terminal. Do we trust the authors? I mean, he is related to an evil tiger from a Disney movie from the 1960s. Other than that, the name is really cool sounding, so I think we'll trust him. Go ahead and say
Wait,
yes.
so wait, this makes me feel so sus though. Because it's like, wait, would you like to continue? All right. This is your computer, not mine. I hope you got good software, cool.
I've been pretty much, indiscreetly uh, lo- loading all of these extensions onto my computer here. So maybe I shouldn't use this computer for your particular application, which
Yep,
has like sensitive information that it's
yep.
focused on. But anyway, yes, I would like to continue. Documentation, we've been saying no, but I'm kind of curious. What the heck is the documentation? Now, something did pop up in my browser. Oh, it just took me to the GitHub page. We are already on the GitHub page, so I guess we didn't. Need that. Well, let's take a look in R and see what happens. So in my project directory now, it added this underscore extensions folder. If I open up my Windows Explorer, and again, it would probably be helpful for me. I could help other people with Mac navigation a little better if I knew the terminology. Do you know, Casey, is there an equivalent to Windows Explorer on a Mac? Is there something called Navigator, or is that the browser?
I'm trying to remember. I have a coworker who uses a Mac, and I'm trying to remember. I think it's Finder on Mac.
Finder? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds reasonable. Um, so I'm just parroting here in the lower right hand pane of my RStudio. I'm parroting the location. So I'm just looking for my desktop, and then there should be a full code folder. I don't know who did these icons. That's not me. Here it is, full code, and it was created on 318 at 6:32. I'm in the central time zone. So if we open that, we can also see, I could have just accessed this through the lower right-hand pane that operates as a Windows Explorer, but I just wanted to show that it's also here. And a few clicks in, we're actually seeing some files that are specifying what's going to happen in the extension itself. Now, you don't need to look at that. I'm just showing that that's what the installation of the extension actually does. Typically, the use of these extensions is done in the YAML and the front matter of documentation. And so for our instructions, it says simply, and we can do that. I'm good at simply. If I'm good at anything, it's being simple. So simply use the filter in the document YAML section. Okay, well, let's try that. Now, this should work both in Reveal.js presentations as well as just default HTML files. So let's create a new, we'll do both. We've been doing a lot of Reveal presentations, so let's actually just do, let's just do an HTML document. We'll call it full screen. And again, the default specifications, let's go ahead and run it. And I'll save it as full screen, which is redundant with the title, but that's okay. I like to, maybe it's because I've been kind of traumatized, I guess, by installing different versions of things and packages and not knowing if something doesn't render, if it's due to a recent installation. When I create a new template file, I always render it just to see, make sure that it's working. And so this looks like it's fine. Now here's one little bit of code that comes in by default. It's just give me the value, give me the output of 1 + 1, and you see upon hover you get the standard copy to clipboard thing. What we're hoping happens is we're hoping that we can get that to be full screen through a simple just command. And so the simple command is filters. Let's see if this works. I have not tried this yet, so I'm just pasting it in as specified on the GitHub help page. We'll rerun that. No errors. Yeah, look at that. Now upon hover, I get actually a full screen. Boy, that couldn't be easier, huh? That's crazy easy. Okay. So in terms of reveal slides, let's try it on a reveal slide. And we could go through and do a entirely new document or presentation again, or I can just change the format on line 3. So I'm just going to change the format on line 3 from HTML to Reveal.js. That should give me a Reveal.js document or slide deck. Now those two hashtag headers are going to turn into, each time you see one of those, it's going to be its own. It's going to be its own slide. The title slide says full screen. If we would have, put an author on there, you'd see more information. Full screen, and then Quarto, and where we expect to see the code is going to be on this next slide, which should have quite a bit of information on it. By default, in these Reveal.js documents, they're not going to echo the code. So in this code itself, we can put a hash pipe and then echo true. So we'll need to have that chunk on the rendered product in order to see what we're hoping to see. So, oh, look at that. It's it's doing the output as well. I did not expect that. So that's, huh. You see that, Casey? It's giving me an option for not just the code chunk, but for the output. That's,
I see the what you're hovering over, but it doesn't like show the name. Does that make sense? Yeah.
yeah. Let me, let's do this. Let's put a nice picture in there, and then I think it'll be a little easier to see. So I'm going to, let's do R graph. We'll grab something from a nice gallery here. Let's do a violin plot. Just because it's the first thing available. That's a pretty one. Um, Hopefully everything's on within here. Boy, look at all the packages that wants. No, I'm not getting. I'm not getting a nice. I'm not getting a nice copy board option on this one. But we'll go ahead and paste that in. I'm actually going to put it on a different. Or I'm going to get rid of some of this text, just because there's quite a bit on this slide. So now we should just have the code chunk, echo true. I probably have all those libraries. HRB themes, I'm not 100% sure on. Looks like I do have it. It doesn't like some fonts. It might have still run. We'll see. Those fonts don't always result in a fatal error. It'll sometimes just go to the default. So there's my plot. It's really small because I actually have a large code chunk. There we go. So it's easily accessible. Now, if we wanted that, I was curious to see. I'm not getting it anymore. I'm not getting the output specification that we did with the default HTML file. So I'm going to change this back to an HTML file and see. That will make the output a little bit bigger. And we'll see if we get a full screen option on the output as well, which was, again, kind of surprising. I didn't expect to see that. Look at all those errors. There's our plot. We do not. Okay, so that's more expected. This extension is supposed to be for the code, not for the output itself. So this code, if you wanted to navigate it a little easier, we can do full screen. I don't know. I like it. It's a very quick and easy extension. Let's just do one last thing here. And that one last thing is, let me add it to a slide deck for tonight. And we'll see if our code is a little easier to navigate. Now, and again, this is a very cluttered folder, but if I navigate to the QMD that created tonight's slide deck and render that,
Did you already add the thing you needed to add?
I didn't add it yet because I want to show this. So I want to show on slide. I took the numbering off, but on slide roughly 6 or 7, I have these tabs, and one of the well, we'll see if this works. It should work with tabs, but on one of the tabs, you're seeing this kind of long over plotting code chunk. And so the question is, if we add the filter here, does it fix this? And fix it by making it bigger and easier to navigate. So my disabling of the mouse wheel to make this more navigable is maybe it's something that could be solved as well by doing the full screen enabling of this extension. So let's go back to, I think I have a link on here actually. We'll just follow the link, full screen code. And I'm going to copy. I am going to put this now in my current directory. And I must not have copied it. Oh, there it is. So we'll trust them again because they worked so well last time. Yes, we want to continue. No, we don't need to read the documentation because now we know that the documentation is simply taking us to the GitHub page. Now, if we look at filters, code full screen, I think I already have some filters on the weekly live stream slides. And again, my YAML is messy. Probably a good way to put it is messy. So I'm just going to put it under the reveal header. The reveal header, by the way, what that filter does is it enables my little logo here to my company page. It enables that to be hyperlinked. So that's all that does. But we'll go ahead and add code full screen to this week's slides as well and see how that looks. And maybe even I can republish it and see so other people can access it. Yeah, look at that. Whoa! That's really whited out, isn't it?
Yeah. Why did the color change so much? Oh gosh.
If you highlight it, you can see it, but
Maybe it's
it's
the theme you have.
yeah, it's the theme, and it's also in order to kind of fake it on some of these code specifications that I have, I'm specifying them not as R chunks, but as YAML bits. And so it's the coloration is coming through because the way that I have the chunks specified. But that's kind of cool. Except for that, let me publish that, republish it, and just see if other people have access to it. Now, Casey, do you have access to a browser?
Yeah.
I'm guessing you do, because if I put, um, can you try to hit that hyperlink in the comments and see if
Hyperlink in the comments.
and see if and maybe if you don't mind sharing your screen, we'll just see if it works on. It should work on your computer now too. I just published it.
All right. I just copied the comment, the hyperlink.
Okay.
Let's see if I can share a screen now. That. Share screen.
It's kind of nice being light out so late.
Can you see the screen?
Yep, there you go. So this is you now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's the. Well, actually, it should work on that too. So, do you have? Oh, you do. Okay. Boy, that coloration is kind of goofy, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be my theme.
Yep. It's definitely the theme of your.
Okay, but that's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I think I could see some situations where I would probably want to use that.
I think for teaching and maybe developing, like if you're in the workplace and you work strictly in R, yes. Like if you want to share code, like
Yeah,
oh, sure.
I mean, just the like again, first world problem, but just the having to navigate down and just having a little more space for that. Now, there's still some scrolling necessary on here, and
Oh,
it,
yeah. The longer it is, the more you're gonna have to scroll. Yeah,
yeah, but this is,
better.
yeah, I think it's better. We could probably do, the zoom looks like the zoom isn't really picking up on the font too much, but we could probably play with browser settings and work with that a little more. All right, cool. That's all I wanted to do tonight. Anything else going on with you, Casey? I gotta
Uh,
get I gotta get you that feedback, which probably do within the next couple of days, as long as I can get my passwords set.
Take your time. I'm trying to keep updating it while trying to do my current job as well. Try and learn more programming languages.
Oh, what else are you looking at?
I had to learn. I learned SQL for the most part, but now we're being integrated with Snowflake, so I got to
Snowflake?
yes, I got to learn DTB, which is what Snowflake like their own version of SQL. I think it's DTB. I'm not sure.
Did you see my Christmas card this year?
I did not. Oh, nice. That's actually pretty cool.
Speaking of snowflakes, we did this on one of these sessions. There was also, I think this is the one. Yeah, I think there's confetti on this as well. Um, okay. Well, so you're multilingual. That's cool.
Yeah. But I mean, I am also trying to work with our Python team to help with modeling. So gotta learn Python at one point.
Fun. We'll talk to Diego about that. I think he's, I wouldn't, I don't know if I say proficient, but he has more exposure to Python than certainly I've had. So
Yeah.
all I know is the index starts at 0 instead of 1. That's the big source of contention among R users and Python users, apparently.
There's just a lot of nuances that are very similar between coding languages, but then are very different, like in terms of typing it out, which makes it complicated because then you're just like trying to learn how to type it out.
Well, it's neat that you're actually doing that. And, you know, the, this stuff, so the authoring stuff, they've intentionally set it up. Our studio changed their name to Posit, and they're getting away from association with a specific language themselves. But Diego always thought it was so funny that the way that they framed it, they talked about using their products for R or Python or Julia or like languages that haven't been invented yet. Diego always thought that was funny. Languages that haven't been invented yet.
Yeah.
But I guess they're always going to be out there. So the other language I've heard that people say that is really helpful to learn is C. I guess um, a lot of this stuff is C derivative or C is still underlying some of it. Now, I know when I first learned about R, the documentation said that R was written with the base language S. Did you ever hear that, or did you ever?
Nope. Never heard of S.
Yeah, I haven't either. I don't know, but there's 26 letters in the alphabet, so I don't know. I guess there could be 26 maybe possible languages. All right, Casey, thanks for popping by. I appreciate it. It was nice to hear from you.
Oh, nice to hear from you as well.
All right, you're always welcome. You know that.
Thank you. Thank you.
If there's anything you want to look into on this stuff either, just drop me a note and we can explore it. I think coming up one of these weeks, we're going to do, Diego wanted to do kind of a uh, web scraping integrated with AI and like text coding kind of thing, which
That would be
sound
helpful. I'll be there for that. Just let me know.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
especially
Well,
in my workplace, that would be helpful.
okay. Well, hopefully we'll get that within the next couple of weeks. I know he's going to be busy, I guess, for 2 or 3 weeks, but he was interested in exploring that. He's done some of it already, so we can see what he's done, and then we can maybe help him and maybe extend it a little bit.
Got it. Got it. Sounds good.
All right. See you, Casey.
Bye.
Bye.